Max, first week where you've actually not had a midweek game, does it take a bit of getting used to?
Yeah, it's been pretty full on. But it's nice to have a week's training. So, yeah, a bit different, but it's good to be out on the grass and actually being able to do some stuff.
Because people talk about the sort of fatigue for players, and obviously if you're a central midfielder or a striker running all the distance, you don't have to cover the same ground. But what do you find, where's the problem for you when you get weary or you get that run of games?
Probably more just mentally, and we do a lot of our work, obviously, like pre-match on the grass, and the heavy workload can be the training. So, yeah, it's just been relentless at the moment, and fair play to the boys. They've stuck at it, and I think we've rotated it quite well and managed ourselves well.
And the manager's talked a lot since coming in about the amount of homework he's given various players and what he's expecting from them in certain positions and all the rest of it. Does that extend to you? I can't imagine that it'll be that much different just because it's a different position.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the same. He gives us stuff and I go through video and clips of him. Obviously, it's a bit different because you've got a specialised coach in your position as well. So a lot of the stuff we can do, we do as a group and we can do together. So me, Pat and the manager have done stuff together, but I've done stuff one-on-one with the manager as well.
Yeah, and Pat, as we know, does a lot of the set piece work. Do you ever get involved with that? Because obviously you're spending a lot of time with him in terms of, right, this is what I don't like as a goalkeeper.
Not particularly. Obviously, everyone's gonna say something if they pick up on things, and I think it's quite good. Like, everyone can be vocal if they want to, and you see little bits and pieces we can change, and we do that.
Yeah. Where do you, interested in your assessment of where this team is at the moment, where do you think you are in relation to maybe where you were a few months ago, and how good you could be in the next few months?
Yeah, it's obviously been a change, and you can see probably on the pitch change of style and how we want to play, and the way that we're implementing different things has been good. It's going to take some time to get used to, and there's always that change in style is gonna take time, like I said. And I think it's been positive, and you can see the performances have been consistent and how we want them to be. You're gonna get the odd blip and a little bump in the road, but I think we've adapted well, and the boys take on board what we're trying to do.
And look at the defensive record, and it's definitely been good the last few months. Is that something? Can you notice that in terms of the amount of work you're doing or shots you're facing?
Well, every team, they want to have something to build off of, and the less goals you concede, and having that platform to play from, so obviously great to have. But yeah, the quieter I am, the better it is, really. So obviously I want to help when I can, but you can't go and chase things. And we've been good at giving ourselves a platform to go and get results in games.
Yeah. How happy are you with your form? Because certainly the last few weeks there's been some very eye-catching performances.
Yeah, no, I feel happy. I'm in a good place. So just trying to be, like I probably said to you guys before, trying to be consistent and churn out those performances. And obviously when it's relentless back-to-back games, it can be easier to do that, I think. And I feel good in myself, and the boys in front of me have done a good job as well. So happy.
The manager very much preaches trying to stay level and not too high and not too low, that kind of thing. As a goalkeeper, because everything you do, good and bad, is amazing or it's a goal. How easy do you find that sort of maintaining an equilibrium?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty level-headed anyway. So you're right. That emotional of not trying to be too high, too low, really enforces that message. And just trying to stay level-headed, especially my position. One mistake and it ends up in the back of the net. It's the way it is. It's the nature of the position. So that's how it is. And obviously, you have to get your head around that pretty quickly.
And is that something you did when you were a kid, sort of coming through age groups, or have you sort of consciously had to work on not getting too frustrated when the inevitable mistake does happen?
Yeah, no, I think that's where obviously the loans help. Playing games when you're younger, like, making mistakes is part of it, and it's a bit cliche, but it's the way that you learn is by making mistakes and not being afraid to go and make the mistakes. And I think especially the manager as well, he's not happy to make mistakes, but if you're doing it in the right way and trying to be positive and doing the right things, then mistakes are going to happen. Yeah. They happen all the time. So yeah, if they do, learn from it and move on.
So you still quite a number of games left this season, lots of possibilities there. How do you look at that? Are you very much right, Sheffield Wednesday and that's it? Or do you start thinking, actually, if we can get a run together, then who knows?
Yeah, no, game by game, always have been, probably always will be. So even if you're flying high at the top or you're down at the bottom, I think game by game is the best way to take it on. And that's certainly the frame of mind that I'm in, and I know a lot of the other boys will be.
So let's do that then. Sheffield Wednesday, Hillsborough, they have been struggling. The results have been improving. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, a lot of energy, high pressing team, and obviously at home they've had a few good results the last few games. So yeah, expect them to come at us and not make it an easy afternoon. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Always is, especially when you know they're playing for survival. They're trying to stay up, and we're in that bit of that limbo at the moment. Not really sure where we are, but yeah, just obviously trying to come away with the 3 points and win the game.
Thank you very much.
To ask a potentially stupid question, when you say you're in a good place as an individual, what does that mean?
I feel happy with how I'm playing. I think saying that is, I'm not overthinking anything. Just going out and playing. Obviously, we do the work in the week of what we're going to come up against, and yeah, I'm feeling confident. Feel good in your body. It's a hard one to explain. It's not a stupid question, but yeah, I think almost having that clarity of not overthinking or thinking about too much is quite good.
Would it be like the equivalent of when strikers say they just sort of take chances? Do you know what I mean? They don't think about it. Is it that sort of...
Yeah, I'd compare it to that. You know, through and goal, you're not thinking about what's happening and you just slide away. So yeah.
So there have been times where you haven't been in a good place. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, you would say that. You make mistakes and you might overanalyze or overthink, and that's, like we just said, is the emotional side of it, of trying to be level-headed and taking the personal out of it and seeing it from a different perspective can help as well.
Would you have liked a few more clean sheets? Because I felt you've been playing exceptionally well. The defence, by and large, has been playing exceptionally well, but you probably haven't had as many clean sheets to kind of indicate that. Is that something that bothers you in any way at all? Be honest.
To be honest, like, if we're winning, it's not the end of the world to me. Obviously, on a personal level, and it's nice to have that sort of recognition. It's always looked at for a keeper, isn't it? Clean sheets, like defenders, clean sheets. But you're coming away from winning games. We've always said it's we before me. So that we is big, and I prefer it to be that way.
The sweeping up, you seem to be sweeping up quite a bit. I don't know if I'm just sort of taking that in a small, but you've been doing quite a bit of that recently. Is that something you've sort of deliberately started doing, or is it just how the game has played out?
No, I think a bit of both, really. It's something you look at, maybe how teams play, or what we're trying to do defensively might be part of that. But I've always tried to be super positive, and whether that's getting crosses or trying to get involved. But yeah, it feels like maybe the last few games I've had to do that a bit more. It might just be the way the games have panned out, but yeah, wherever I can help is nice.
Because it's nice to be able to head the ball now and again.
Yeah, I'm not used to it, so yeah, no, it's all right.
Am I right in saying, once upon a time, you were a centre-back?
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
Before you became a goalkeeper. So is there a little bit of that still in you?
I think that's probably gone now.
So what could you talk about how that changed? And can you remember?
Yeah, I think I was 13, 14, and we had a goalkeeper that maybe didn't turn up for a game. We used to do half in goal, half on pitch, stuck my hand up and went in goal, and then before was the first time we properly had a crack at it. So no, it's nice to see, and obviously 2 local lads coming through and playing together is great, and there's others in there as well who we would have played with along the way.
Like when you are much younger, do you ever have sort of conversations as lads that one day, you know, we'll be in the first team together? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was always...
I'm being a bit romantic about my question.
Yeah, it's getting a bit deep. No, well, they always say, like, it's usually 1 from each age group, isn't it? I think it's changed now with the way the pathway is, and especially here, how we push boys through. We were quite lucky from our age group. There was 3 or 4 who were there or thereabouts and in and around that first team squad. So yeah, it can happen, and yeah, you see it now. There's multiple from each age group coming through, and it is good to see.
And a little bit cheesy again, sorry, but do you have that kind of chemistry on the pitch that's kind of always been there? Like, have you always played well together? Yeah,
and I think it's more we don't have to scream and shout at each other knowing what's going to happen. Obviously things are going to happen and it's not going to go well, but we know when we do have a go at each other, we mean it properly. So it's not just shouting for the sake of it. It's yeah, we get on well and on and off the pitch, so that helps. And yeah, it's the same with anyone else. You get on with them off the pitch, and it can help. Who's tended
to have a go at you?
No, I think it's mutual. Yeah, we have a little dig at each other every so often, so it's all right.
Appreciate it's kind of, you are part of the possessional aspects of the team, but it's kind of a little bit more further up. Well, I guess, I don't know, it depends how you want to frame it. But as a player, because there has been a clear sort of obstacle for you as a team, breaking down teams who kind of let you have the ball. Where do you kind of stand on that? Like, do you have an opinion on, has that been the problem, or do you see the solutions to it?
I think it's just, you get into, it's funny, we were talking about it the other day, you get into a rhythm of, it can be dictated by how other teams play as well. So obviously, you know, we played Middlesbrough, Forest, West Ham, Southampton, Watford to an extent, teams that have a lot of the ball, and we're happy to control it in our way by being in a block and saying, right, you break us down, we'll take our chance when we get the ball back. So to go through that, have those 3-4 games in a row, it can be hard to switch, I think, sometimes, especially when you don't have a lot of time on the training pitch. But yeah, it's just with practice and coming up with different ways, and the manager's really good at coming up with different ways of trying to break teams down and how we go about that.
So therefore, QPR could be seen as a good preparation ground for kind of what's to come.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, it's I still think they play well and they were good with the ball. So every team in this division can hold their own, and anyone can beat anyone on any day. So yeah, it's going to be tough, and something, like you said, we may have struggled with in the past, but hopefully we've got the answers.
Cheers, Max.
Nice one.